We will lead the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term. I said to Elon, is that doable? Absolutely. He loves rockets, that guy. Never seen a guy that likes rockets so much.
Massive crushing victory. Get everyone, friends, family, people on the street. Put the signs up, put the hat on. Let's go.
We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God.
You know something, Trump maniacs? I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
I speak to Elon, and he endorses me very strongly. He endorses me almost every day.
The president-elect has chosen tech billionaire Elon Musk for a role in his new administration overseeing the Department of Government Efficiency.
We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never, ever back down, and we will never, ever, ever, ever surrender.
Trump e Musk, todos poderosos.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th President of the United States.
Elon Musk e Donald Trump, duas figuras que são agora inseparáveis. Donald Trump continua apostado em galvanizar a sua base de apoio com promessas de revitalização da situação no terreno.
If they cheat on the election, it might be Kamala. I don't think that's too good.
Count every vote! Count every...
What the hell is wrong with these Democrats? They're a bunch of Marxists. China owns them. China owns them.
Ao passo que a visão da Elon Musk aponta para voos mais altos, projetando a humanidade em direção à exploração interplanetária e redefinindo o que é possível fazer nos céus e para além deles.
Having some permanent presence on another heavenly body, which would be the kind of the moon base, and then and then getting people to Mars and beyond, that's sort of that's the continuance of the dream of Apollo that I think people are really looking for.
Juntos representam duas abordagens contrastantes, mas complementares ao poder. Uma baseada no imediato, a outra com os olhos postos nas estrelas. A relação entre Donald Trump e Elon Musk mistura dinheiro, liberdade de expressão e poder de uma forma absolutamente inédita. Musk defende a liberdade de expressão através de plataformas como a X, enquanto Trump tira partido da sua influência política para amplificar a sua mensagem, criando uma dinâmica em que a riqueza e a ideologia convergem para reformular a narrativa política e cultural. Com a vitória surpreendente de Trump nas eleições de 2024, os Estados Unidos e o mundo poderão estar à beira de uma era transformadora que pode redefinir a democracia, a política e os fundamentos da liderança moderna. Mas por entre todo este ruído e caos continuam a pairar dúvidas sobre as verdadeiras intenções de Musk. O que significa, para o homem mais rico do mundo, estar agora no epicentro da política americana. Trump, um nome que se confunde com a silhueta de Nova Iorque e não só. Do imobiliário aos casinos e até aos jogos de tabuleiro, Donald J. Trump nunca teve medo de associar o seu nome a tudo que pudesse ser rentável. Em 2016, o magnata do imobiliário enveredou por um novo caminho, com os olhos postos no edifício mais cobiçado do país, a Casa Branca.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
The 2016 election was one that was marred by great levels of polarization.
The experience of the Obama presidency radicalized a lot of Republicans.
Citizens from white America felt that their needs weren't being heard, that they were slowly becoming a minority, and they were really afraid of this prospect.
Com recurso à retórica, Trump foi capaz de explorar e amplificar esses medos.
The environment in U.S. politics was pretty intense. It was already pretty polarized. There were already issues and the need to come together. And Trump came in, like many autocratic populists do, and he made everything worse.
Populist leaders are usually charismatic, both internally and externally, and by that I mean they have a very strong emotional bond with the people. The messaging that they give to voters is usually binary. There is good, there is evil. There is no room for ambiguity, there is no room for nuance, for complication. It is a very simplistic, binary appeal.
Now, typically with populist movements in the West, it's kind of white, working class, lower middle class people regarding their way of life or an imagined past being under threat by newcomers to that society. And when people are feeling poor, when people are feeling financially insecure, they're looking to blame someone.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
He was able to really overpower other Republican candidates, and it was a very wide field. But during these debates, he would completely just overpower everybody else.
I know you're a tough guy, Jeb.
He would bully them.
But then his poll numbers tanked. That's why he's on the end.
He degraded the level of decency.
We don't need a weak person being president of the United States, okay?
It was basically a shouting fest.
In the polls,
but you're not beating Hillary.
So you're not beating Hillary. Well, then if I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you?
And he was able to throw insults at people that were so low, they just were lower than we had ever heard before.
She said he's a pussy.
And then that brought other candidates down to his level. But by projecting this image of strength, he really resonated with Republican Party voters. And he would eventually win the nomination by May of 2016.
Do you feel something's changing?
Well, it's going to be like Brexit. It's the polls are going to show Hillary winning, and when we wake up on the 9th, Trump is going to be our president.
She's the worst Secretary of State. Crooked Hillary Clinton. She doesn't care at all.
Trump really became a master of the big set pieces, the big rallies, the arenas, using charisma, using new media, alternative media, and being completely willing and enthusiastic to attack established media. In some respects, it was a fusion of the old and the new. And in 2016, for lots of reasons we now know, he did understand mass psychology and he did outflank much of the elite.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory, and I congratulated her, crooked Hillary Clinton, and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard.
Trump didn't think he would win. They were as shell-shocked as everybody else.
Hillary has worked very long.
The key to Trump's victory was that he represented what to many people was renewal and change and a sweeping away of what was seen in the form of Hillary Clinton as an old, stale, corrupt political order.
There's lots of evidence to suggest Trump would have lots of conversations with people about this. You know, he was thinking about this as it was a marketing opportunity. They were planning all sorts of things for the post-election and period. None of them involved governing. None of them involved in being president. None of them involved the White House.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Donald Trump escancarou as portas da Casa Branca, violando normas e reescrevendo as regras da política americana. Ao longo de 4 anos tumultuosos, a sua presidência desencadeou mudanças estruturais, cortes nos impostos e guerras comerciais, repressão à imigração e alianças globais postas à prova.
Well, the Trump presidency starts out with contention and remains contentious throughout. It's a short period of time chronologically, but there's a lot packed into it. We start, really even before the administration has gotten underway. Their national security advisor has to quit because of contacts that he's had with the Russian government and hadn't disclosed. We have the travel ban that's imposed on, people coming in from Muslim-majority countries, only a week into the administration.
The single best way to protect, and you have to do this, and to keep foreign terrorists from attacking our country is to keep these foreign terrorists from entering our country in the first place.
That summer, we've got rhetorical back and forth with North Korea, Trump bragging about the size of his nuclear button. We have the Charlottesville marches where white supremacists sort of invade the college town of Charlottesville, Virginia, and one of the counter-protesters is actually killed. Trump justifies in some ways that event by talking about good people on both sides.
You will
There was an opportunity for Trump to condemn the march of the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis, to unequivocally criticize what they were doing and who they stood for. But instead of doing that, he was so afraid to upset his base that he refused to condemn them. And this was even after someone died.
I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. You had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
Mas não era apenas política, era espetáculo.
He moved from one scandal to the next.
Os tweets tornaram-se armas, a controvérsia tornou-se moeda corrente e a polarização tornou-se o legado que o definiu.
Trump withdraws from the Paris Climate Accords. He's disrupting NATO. He's in Russia, with Vladimir Putin, talking about how he believes that Vladimir Putin did not interfere with the 2016 election. Why? Because Putin told him so, and he believes Putin more than he believes his own American intelligence services.
What are we going to do? We're going to make America great again. You watch.
Enquanto o mundo se debatia com uma pandemia e a América se preparava para o seu próximo capítulo, o mandato de Trump deixou uma nação transformada e polarizada.
So Trump's first impeachment took place officially in December of 2019. And in the fall, there was reporting that Trump had called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and had pressured him to investigate Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. And he was insinuating on this phone call that if he didn't do so, that the U.S. would withhold very vital economic and military aid that the Ukrainians need.
In 2020, Trump is impeached, but then acquitted. And so early 2020, Trump, I think, probably feels pretty good politically. He's just been acquitted.
We have something that just worked out. I mean, it worked out. We went through hell unfairly, did nothing wrong. Did nothing wrong. I've done things wrong in my life, I will admit. Not purposely, but I've done things wrong. But this is what the end result is.
And he's been very successful, actually, in reshaping the federal judiciary. A lot of nominations to the federal courts, including, at that point, 2 nominations to the Supreme Court.
Em 2020, Trump regressou à campanha para lutar pela reeleição contra o ex-vice-presidente Joe Biden.
So the Democratic Party had a wide field in 2020 to challenge Trump because they saw an opportunity that many Americans were tired of this unconventional presidency. And I think Democrats wanted in 2020 kind of a reliable, experienced Democrat who could win against Trump.
Biden was an interesting candidate because he had been around so long. People did have a decent sense of him. He didn't have to work at name recognition. He had been vice president for 8 years and, again, in the Senate for decades before that. They thought, yeah, Biden's fine. He was an old white guy. He was a safe pair of hands. He was, again, a known commodity.
Because what's at stake is so much bigger than any election any of you have participated in. You know in your gut, this election for president is different. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that makes America America is literally at stake. Folks.
A vasta experiência de Biden não conseguiu dissuadir Trump, que respondeu com uma mensagem ainda mais enfática ao povo americano. Avançou com a sua campanha Make America Great Again, com uma determinação nunca vista.
In my State of the Union address, I proudly declared that we are in the midst of the great American comeback, and we're just getting started.
After 4 long, tense days, we've reached a historic moment in this election. We can now project the winner of the presidential race.
But just look at the joy on the other side of the Great Divide. Liberal Americans for 4 years have been emotionally exhausted, shocked, even embarrassed by the Trump era. Now there is a sense of monumental relief.
I will be an American president. I'll work hard for those who didn't support me, as hard for them as I did for those who did vote for me. That's the job of a president, to represent all of us.
Após a contagem dos votos em novembro de 2020, o candidato democrata Joe Biden tornou-se oficialmente o presidente eleito. Trump tornou-se o primeiro presidente desde George W. Bush a cumprir apenas um mandato. Os democratas festejaram, mas Trump não fazia tensões de deixar a Casa Branca de forma pacífica.
Having, sort of laid the groundwork for the election being unfair. He's arguing throughout 2020 that mail-in voting, which is made more necessary by COVID, of course, is corrupt somehow, that elections aren't secure.
The idea was that COVID could have been something that was made up or that was exacerbated in order to lead to sort of easier ways for Democrats to rig or steal the election, right?
Somehow all of this insecurity will be against him and not against other candidates, including, by the way, members of his own party lower on the ballot. Only he was overturned, only his votes were messed with.
So on January 6th, the Congress job is to meet, and it's very sort of pro forma, as it were. The idea is that there would be a certification of the electors, and the electors, as we elect presidents in the United States, we vote for the electors, who in turn will vote for the president, and that's done on January 6th.
Effectively, ceremonially, just to say, yes, Joe Biden won the election. Trump obviously wants to disrupt that, and that ultimately is going to lead to, immense pressure on his vice president, Mike Pence, who is the official who, in the Constitution, actually, reads out the results.
Key to his plan and why it failed was his vice president, Mike Pence, was supposed to decertify the election results. But that, of course, would have been a violation of federal law, and his own lawyers were telling him, you can't do that. And so then he was pretty much the only president in history that put a bounty on his own vice president's head.
Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump!
So the 6th of January was probably one of the darkest days in American history. This was a day that had been months in the planning. It was not spontaneous, though Trump would like people to believe that. He had spent months thinking that he wasn't going to win the election, or at least that was a possibility. So he tried to sow the seeds of doubt that the elections were illegitimate and that the U.S. was facing all kinds of electoral fraud, voter fraud, and that there would need to be something to be done about it, and that he had rightfully won the election. And he was able to galvanize his supporters to basically charge on the Capitol. And Trump did nothing. He did nothing to stop the rioters. He didn't intervene. He didn't tell them, I condemn this. He probably secretly loved this. He probably was lapping this up, that he was able to encourage his own supporters to stage a coup on the Capitol.
Os motins no Capitólio suscitaram uma mudança drástica. O mundo assistiu horrorizado a estas ações que impulsionaram o trumpismo para uma nova era de política do caos. Multimilionário, empreendedor, inventor, gênio, rebelde. Na era moderna da política americana, há uma figura que tem expressado abertamente as suas opiniões, deixando um rastro de controvérsia e turbulência. Musk tem tido uma relação complexa com a política americana, expressando opiniões que esbatem as fronteiras partidárias.
Do people get upset at you if you do certain things?
Apoiou Barack Obama durante a campanha presidencial de 2008.
Two wars, a planet in peril, the worst financial crisis in a century. Even as we stand here tonight, we know there are brave Americans waking up in the deserts of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan to risk their lives for us.
E apoiou Hillary Clinton em 2016. Embora não tenha apoiado explicitamente Joe Biden, as empresas de Musk, como a Tesla e a SpaceX, beneficiaram das políticas da sua administração, nomeadamente no que diz respeito às energias limpas e aos veículos elétricos.
We have to figure out how to make electric cars themselves compelling without that economic forcing function of high gas prices.
Os compromissos políticos de Musk refletem muitas vezes as suas prioridades empresariais e não uma qualquer fidelidade partidária. O homem mais rico do mundo pode ser descrito como um camaleão político. E em 2024 traçou um novo rumo ao apoiar a reeleição do polémico Donald J. Trump. Durante anos, Elon Musk criticou Donald Trump, afirmando que o republicano não era a pessoa certa para o cargo. No entanto, a dinâmica mudou significativamente depois de Musk ter adquirido o Twitter, agora conhecido como X, e ter reintegrado a conta do antigo presidente, suscitando um debate generalizado. Nos anos que se seguiram, Musk manteve uma distância cautelosa, descrevendo a sua opinião sobre Trump como uma escolha difícil e abstendo-se de o apoiar abertamente. Mas tudo mudou no período que antecedeu as eleições deste ano. Tudo indicava que seria apenas mais um comício típico de Trump, semelhante aos inúmeros que ele já tinha feito. Um mar de apoiantes de chapéu vermelho e cartazes com variações do slogan MAGA inundou o recinto. O primeiro tiro foi disparado às 18h11 e foi captado pelas câmaras.
Chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Trump foi imediatamente cercado por agentes dos serviços secretos e surgiram fotografias que o mostravam com uma orelha ensanguentada.
Watch out.
Um indivíduo, Corey Comparatória, foi morto no incidente. O atirador foi neutralizado no local pelos serviços secretos. No mesmo dia, Elon anunciou o seu apoio a Trump, uma medida que causou furor junto da imprensa.
I'm a big fan of Elon. Elon gave me tremendous endorsement. It's good, isn't it? Is it? You're gonna have to send a rocket up to get those people out of there. That's crazy. You know, he's great. I said, when are you sending a rocket up? Well, you know, Elon is a very different kind of a guy. As he thinks, he talks. Whereas a lot of people, you know, they want the words to be perfect and all, and they think less and talk more. Right? With Elon, it's like, well, you know, I'm doing a new stainless steel hub that can get us around the engines much quicker because there's a problem with the type of engine going into space nowadays. And I'm hearing the... but in the end, I think we can have a good hookup because of the new foils that are coming up. And I'm hearing everything that's going through his mind. But he's a super genius guy.
Surgiram dúvidas quanto ao apoio de Musk a Trump e muitos questionaram-se sobre os motivos por detrás desse apoio. A sua relação com Donald Trump nunca foi linear. À primeira vista, as prioridades de ambos parecem ser contraditórias, sobretudo no que diz respeito às políticas relativas às alterações climáticas.
We do have significant danger with fracking technology, which is, I think, really still at an early stage. Because I think fracking probably increases the accessible oil and gas in the world by perhaps a factor of 10. I mean, we don't really know what the full extent of it is, but it's probably something like an order of magnitude, which means the potential harm to the climate is really much greater than it was before.
Mas um olhar mais atento revela uma complexa rede de alinhamentos práticos e estratégicos. Durante a administração Trump, as políticas de desregulamentação e os cortes nos impostos das empresas criaram um ambiente favorável aos negócios que beneficiou indiretamente as empresas de Musk como a Tesla e a SpaceX.
This election will decide whether we reward Kamala Harris with re-election and 4 more years of crime, economic calamity, and international humiliation, or whether we change that direction and once again build the greatest economy in the history of the world, which we had during the Trump administration.
A ênfase de Trump no reforço da indústria transformadora dos Estados Unidos da América encontrou eco na missão de Musk de produzir veículos elétricos e baterias em solo americano.
Our goal is to get to cars that everyone can afford as soon as possible, but any technology has to go through a learning curve and has to go through economies of scale and that kind of thing. No, I think all transport, with the exception of rockets, will go fully electric. So that's why, I mean, I see the value of Tesla as an accelerant, as a catalyst in that transition.
E há ainda a posição partilhada sobre a liberdade de expressão. Depois de ter adquirido o Twitter, atualmente conhecido como X, Musk defendeu uma moderação de conteúdos menos restritiva, uma visão que ecoa as críticas de Trump à censura sentida pelas grandes empresas tecnológicas. As posições de ambos sobre esta questão polémica alinharam-se, suscitando debates sobre a interseção entre política e plataformas.
CNN's fake news. I don't take questions. I don't take questions from CNN. CNN is fake news. I don't take questions from CNN.
This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms.
O pragmatismo de Musk sempre se destacou. Ao aceitar lidar com líderes de todo o espectro político, conseguiu manter relações que favorecem os seus objetivos comerciais, mesmo num clima de polarização. Esta procura de neutralidade pode ser vista como uma tentativa por parte de Musk de evitar alienar Trump e os seus apoiantes.
This human spaceflight is the reason that SpaceX was created, and we're incredibly honored to partner with NASA and to make this happen.
Uma área de interesse comum é a política espacial. A presidência de Trump fomentou um apoio significativo à exploração espacial privada, o que incluiu a criação da Força Espacial. Estas medidas alinharam-se na perfeição com a visão ambiciosa de Musk para a SpaceX e para o futuro da humanidade para além da Terra.
What the National Space Agency would like to do, of course, is to slowly hand over operation of the entire International Space Station to commercial companies.
We as an agency, we want to go to Mars and even beyond. And of course, we're very excited about the excitement that Elon is bringing to this, that SpaceX is bringing to this idea of humans expanding throughout the solar system.
This is a huge step for us. It's a huge step for the commercial ventures. And I think it's important for the world to realize that we're going into space to stay. And we're going to continue on to then the moon and then on to Mars.
Mas as contradições mantêm-se. Há muito que Musk é um defensor acérrimo das energias renováveis e dos veículos elétricos, o que o coloca em desacordo com o retrocesso de Trump em matéria de proteção ambiental e a retirada do Acordo de Paris.
In order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord Thank you. Thank you. But begin negotiations to re-enter either the Paris Accord or in really entirely new transaction on terms that are fair to the United States, its businesses, its workers, its people, its taxpayers.
Em última análise, o apoio de Musk a Trump parece ter menos que ver com a ideologia partilhada e mais com um alinhamento estratégico em questões específicas. Um malabarismo complicado entre princípios principais e o pragmatismo profissional. Historicamente, o populismo sempre prosperou com a propaganda.
America, my home, sweet home.
Tais movimentos políticos dependem muito de campanhas que simplificam e dramatizam mensagens complexas com vista a consolidar o poder e a apelar a públicos alargados. Desde os regimes fascistas do século XX, que recorreram à rádio e ao cinema para criar narrativas nacionalistas convincentes.
Ein Friedleben und aber auch tapferes und ihr müsst friedfertig sein.
Até às campanhas mais recentes alimentadas pelas redes sociais, a máquina de propaganda tem sido indispensável para amplificar as mensagens populistas.
Populism's discourse has never changed. Okay, you just look at fascist Germany, fascist Italy. It's that suspicion of other people, it's that hatred of other people that you think are going to represent a threat to your way of life and to your personal security. In many ways, the populism we see today is identical to the populism we saw 100 years ago.
Este padrão voltou a surgir nas eleições presidenciais de 2024, onde o apoio ativo de Elon Musk a Donald Trump demonstrou a evolução da propaganda na era digital. Musk utilizou a plataforma X para mobilizar apoio, promovendo memes centrados em Trump, hashtags que são tendências e até incentivos monetários para captar eleitores. O contributo de $100 milhões para os esforços pró-Trump e o uso do algoritmo do X para favorecer narrativas populistas são um exemplo de como as redes sociais podem ser usadas para definir resultados políticos.
If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as crooked Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. There's nobody ever has done damage to our country like this.
Na reta final da campanha, as intervenções diretas de Musk foram além do papel típico das elites empresariais. O seu alinhamento com Trump veio alterar o papel das redes sociais de fórum público para máquina de propaganda política.
God bless the
No dia 21 de julho de 2024, o presidente Joe Biden anunciou a retirada da corrida presidencial, apoiando a vice-presidente Kamala Harris como sua sucessora. Esta decisão surgiu no seguimento das preocupações cada vez mais prementes com a sua idade e a capacidade de competir com Donald Trump nas eleições presidenciais.
I'm winning. Five in a row.
So, Philadelphia, I launched my campaign for the President of the United States a mere 2 weeks ago. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind. And just last night, the delegates to the Democratic National Convention finished voting. And so I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
What happened to her laugh? I haven't heard that laugh in about a week. That's why they keep her off the stage. That's why she's disappeared. That's the laugh of a crazy person, I will tell you. If you haven't known it, it's a crazy. She's crazy. They told her, don't laugh, don't laugh. No, her laugh is career threatening. They said, don't laugh. She hasn't laughed. She doesn't laugh anymore. It's smart, but someday it's going to come out. That's the laugh of a person with some big problems.
Trump enfrentou Harris em debates televisivos aguerridos. Depressa se percebeu que Kamala tinha a força e a determinação necessárias para galvanizar os principais blocos de eleitores, sobretudo as mulheres.
Get Megan Thee Stallion to twerk on stage again. We all loved that last time.
O seu desempenho revigorou o entusiasmo democrata e a própria campanha.
And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised.
A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
A intensificação na reta final da campanha tornou claro que o ex-presidente precisava de um grande impulso para ganhar. Musk entrou em cena, liderando os esforços para galvanizar a base republicana e empurrar Trump para a Casa Branca.
Leave the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term. We're going to reach. I said to Elon, is that doable? Absolutely. He loves rockets, that guy. Never seen a guy that likes rockets so much. First time I got a glimpse, I said, who did that? Remember when the rocket engines came down? They have no wings, no nothing. I said, what the hell is that? I'm looking. It wasn't a missile. It was just a round tube. And it came down and landed right on a barge, a circle, 4 of them or 3 of them. Came right down and landed right on a circle from space. I said, who the hell did that? It was Elon Musk. I called him. I said, what's that all about? He said, well, engines are very, very expensive. So if we could save them. And through certain this and that, we were able to do it. And it's so incredible. They can use them again and again and again. How smart. How smart. And he said, we can do that. We'll be in Mars before the end of our term.
A crescente popularidade de Harris e a intervenção de Musk preparou o terreno para um dos mais intensos confrontos eleitorais da história dos Estados Unidos. Em outubro, o magnata da tecnologia organizou os próprios comícios nos subúrbios de Filadélfia e em zonas fulcrais do estado da Pensilvânia. Centrou-se em temas conservadores de base, tais como a liberdade de expressão, o direito ao porte de armas e o controle mais rigoroso da imigração. Musk afirmou que estava em jogo o futuro da civilização e defendeu as políticas de Trump em matéria de segurança fronteiriça e eficiência.
It's just like the big government machine, basically, is what's in charge. Here's what I'm saying, like, let's say we're starting a country again. How many agencies do we need? Do we need more than 99? Because that's 99 is a lot of agencies. You know, like that's still a lot, you know? Applying resources to oppress the American people while rolling out the red carpet for illegals. Does this make any sense? My opinion is that those who say Trump is a threat to democracy are themselves the threat to democracy.
No entanto, o magnata divergiu de Trump no que dizia respeito ao voto antecipado, incentivando os apoiantes a não esperarem para votar, o que gerou alguma confusão entre as hostes. Nesse mês, Musk juntou-se a Trump no segundo comício em Butler, na Pensilvânia, onde o candidato presidencial tinha sobrevivido a uma tentativa de assassinato. Vestido de preto e com o chapéu MAGA escuro, Elon subiu ao palco.
Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Hi, everyone.
Semanas depois, Donald Trump entusiasmou o Madison Square Garden num dos seus últimos eventos de campanha, transformando o recinto emblemático num campo de batalha de fervor político de última hora.
Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. We're gonna win, win, win.
You know something, Trump maniacs? I don't see no stinking Nazis in here. I don't see no stinking domestic terrorists in here. The only thing I see in here are a bunch of hard-working men and women that are real Americans, brother.
Por entre os cânticos ensurdecedores dos apoiantes e a enxurrada de oradores mediáticos, Elon Musk fez uma entrada dramática. Num apelo ousado e fervoroso, Musk galvanizou a multidão, definindo o momento atual como um ponto de viragem.
Overwhelming sweep of every swing state, and even some of the states that people don't think are swing states. Massive, crushing victory. Get everyone, friends, family, people on the street. Put the signs up, put the hat on. Let's go!
A sua presença sublinhou o esforço incansável da corrida para garantir todos os votos possíveis na reta final da campanha. Novembro de 2024 marcou um ponto de viragem na política americana.
What I want to know is what's going to happen to our country. I mean, I was here in New York during 9/11, right? And I'll say that New Yorkers, we really came together. And that's what Americans should do right now. We have to stop all this partisan nonsense. We have to stop all the media bullshit crap. We've got to stop pretending that our country is based entirely on the results of one election, because then more people are just going to die.
Donald J. Trump contrariou todas as previsões, conquistando os 7 principais estados decisivos, incluindo a Flórida, Pensilvânia, Michigan e Wisconsin. Kamala Harris admitiu a derrota, tendo garantido apenas 226 votos eleitorais contra os 312 de Donald Trump. Estas vitórias abriram-lhe as portas da Casa Branca, revigoraram os seus apoiantes e redefiniram o cenário político.
We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Para os seus leais apoiantes foi uma verdadeira desforra. Mas para os outros, o regresso ao poder provocou incerteza e inquietação. Num mundo à beira de um conflito global e a braços com uma espiral de instabilidade económica, o regresso de Donald J. Trump ao poder pode muito bem marcar o início de um novo capítulo conflituoso da história.
The president-elect has chosen tech billionaire Elon Musk for a role in his new administration overseeing the Department of Government Efficiency.
I've tried Googling it and I've asked all the AIs, how many government agencies are there?
460.
And even the government doesn't know.
O presidente Trump formou um novo executivo dominado por indivíduos leais, incluindo a nomeação polémica de um opositor às vacinas, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., para secretário da Saúde. No centro destas decisões está a preferência de Trump por figuras profundamente alinhadas com o movimento MAGA. Esta realidade sublinha o empenho de Trump em rodear-se de figuras alinhadas com as suas perspectivas, mesmo quando estas decisões suscitam o escrutínio público e político. No centro do novo executivo do presidente Trump está a figura polarizadora de Elon Musk. Nas últimas semanas, Musk tem sido visto a participar em reuniões de estratégia em Mar-a-Lago, a assistir a um evento da UFC ao lado do presidente e até a participar no jantar de ação de graças da família Trump, sentado num lugar proeminente na mesa da família. Esta proximidade a Trump denota a influência significativa de Musk na definição do programa político da administração neste período turbulento. Mas quanto tempo irá durar esta amizade? E será que o resto da administração não se vai fartar da influência de Musk na tomada de decisões? Ao combinar a sua abordagem inovadora, mas caótica, com a agência MAGA, Musk pode redefinir as normas políticas, desafiar as instituições estabelecidas e introduzir políticas que podem alterar o equilíbrio de poder em Washington. Se Musk corresponder a estas expectativas, poderá redefinir a estrutura da política americana durante gerações.